Good morning on this April the 27th, 2021. Our devotion this morning is taken from an Oasis Moment by Donna Hogue, and the title of this devotion is The Starbucks Experience, and it's written by a friend, Nancy Granquist. For I truly tell you, whoever gives you a cup of water to drink because you belong to and bear the name of Christ will by no means fail to get his reward. That is found in Mark chapter 9, verse 41. I was at Starbucks and Safeway earlier than usual. It was going to be a very busy Sunday, more than the 9 a.m. to 10:30 p.m. schedule, which was our normal routine. It was our Christmas performance, so I thought an extra large latte would give me a jump start. While in line, I struck up a conversation with the man standing behind me. I thought I would do something kind, so when I paid for my order, I paid for his too. He said, "Hey, thanks," and then he proceeded to enter his number so that he got the credit for our lattes. I've got to be honest, it absolutely stunned me. I got my latte and walked out of the store thinking about what had just happened. Somehow I knew there was a lesson for me to learn. When I stood in front of the choir that morning, I couldn't help but think of the great sacrifice they all had made. They had put in many Tuesday night practices and extra early Sunday morning practices. I laughingly told them my Safeway Starbucks story, and they all seemed just as amazed. I told them that I had asked the Lord to teach me something from the experience, and I believe he did. In our laboring for the Lord, if we're not careful, we can become overwhelmed and weary with the journey. We are continually pouring out the very essence, the substance of our lives. Sometimes people take advantage of us, maybe even use and discard us. It can leave us feeling unappreciated and abused unless we give ourselves in his name. That's right, if we love God and have his heart, we will be able to tirelessly fulfill his will and purpose. We know that he blesses those with pure and unselfish motives, so let us continue giving with our whole heart. Jesus spoke the above scripture. He lived it so that we could live that way too, even on an early Sunday morning at Starbucks. And she says, "Jesus, when I give willingly in your name, you always reward." Always. I often say this. I may not have the money to pay these dear people that come and surround me and help me and bless me. And at times I say, God, I'm just not even deserving. But I always pray that God will always help them and bless them. I know they're blessed when they give monetarily, when they pay their tithes, they give their tithes and their offerings, and they go above and beyond. If it's Save Our Children, if it's Mother's Memorial, whatever it is, these individuals that surround me at this church are faithful. But I always ask God, and I said this to my husband just yesterday as I prepared a meal so that they could sit down and eat with the guests, precious people that we served, my husband and I served this past Sunday. And I think about, what I spoke to him. I said, I could not make it without these ladies that are there to just pick up the pieces that honestly I don't have time to do. That may sound like, oh, well, what do you do? Shop all day? No, really very rarely anymore. And thank goodness our church is built on the side of the mall so that if I need anything, I can just pull around or run around or go out through the mall entrance door and I'm right there. But I am so thankful, and I always pray that when you give to others, when you do something for someone else like the Lord taught us to do, he will be there to reward you. He will. He will be there to help you pick up the pieces and to move through life with the blessings that he can give. God, I do thank you for our ladies and men at Family Worship Center. I thank you for every child, God, even those we have to stop and teach at times to get it right, to do it right. But God, I'm so thankful for each of them. As I'm praying right now, I can see each of their faces, God. And I ask you, God, to honor their faithfulness. When they give and when they do unto others, that you would allow them to look back and say, oh my goodness, I did that, and look what the Lord did for me. And I didn't even do it to get a reward. But God, help them to be observant, because you're right there to help them along the way. For this, we give you thanks, God. We're so grateful to you for always making it so good and so right. Even during troubled times, God, you've been right there. We praise you, God. We thank you. We honor you this day. In Jesus' name, amen. Our reading begins today in 1 Chronicles chapter 9. We will be reading from the New King James Version, and we will be going through chapter 13 today. So all Israel was recorded by genealogies, and indeed they were inscribed in the book of the kings of Israel. But Judah was carried away captive to Babylon because of their unfaithfulness. And the first inhabitants who dwelt in their possessions in their cities were Israelites, priests, Levites, and the Nethinim. Now in Jerusalem the children of Judah dwelt, and some of the children of Benjamin, and of the children of Ephraim and Manasseh. Uthai, the son of Ammihud, the son of Omri, the son of Imri, the son of Bani, of the descendants of Perez, the son of Judah. Of the Shilonites, Asaiah, the firstborn, and his sons. Of the sons of Zerah, Joel and their brethren, 690. Of the sons of Benjamin, Salu, the son of Meshullam, the son of Hadaviah, the son of Hasanua, Ibniah, the son of Jeroham, Elah, the son of Uzi, the son of Mikri, Meshullam, the son of Shephatiah, the son of Reuel, the son of Ibnijah, and their brethren, according to their generations, 956. All these men were heads of a father's house in their fathers' houses. Of the priests, Jedediah, Jehorib, and Jachin, Azariah the son of Hilkiah, the son of Meshullam, the son of Zadok, the son of Marioth, the son of Ahitub, the officer over the house of God. Adiah, the son of Jeroham, the son of Pashur, the son of Malchijah. Masai, the son of Adiel, the son of Jahzerah, the son of Meshullam, the son of Mishalemith, the son of Immer, and their brethren, heads of their fathers' houses, 1,760. They were very able men for the work of the service of the house of God. Of the Levites, Shemaiah, the son of Hashub, the son of Azrikam, the son of Hashabiah, of the sons of Merari, Bakbakar, Haresh, Galal, and Mattaniah, the son of Micah, the son of Zikri, the son of Asaph, Obadiah, the son of Shemaiah, the son of Galal, the son of Jeduthun, and Berechiah, the son of Asa, the son of Elkanah, who lived in the villages of Netophathites. And the gatekeepers were Shallum, Akub, Talmon, Ahiman, and their brethren. Shallum was the chief. Until then they had been gatekeepers for the camps of the children of Levi at the king's gate on the east. Shallum, the son of Kor, the son of Ebiasaph, the son of Korah, and his brethren from his father's house. The Korathites, or Korahites, were in charge of the work of the service, gatekeepers of the tabernacle. Their fathers had been keepers of the entrance to the camp of the Lord. And Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, had been the officer over them in time past. The Lord was with him. Zechariah, the son of Meshelemiah, was keeper of the door of the tabernacle of meeting. All those chosen as gatekeepers were 212. They were recorded by their genealogy in their villages. David and Samuel the seer had appointed them to their trusted office. So they and their children were in charge of the gates of the house of the Lord, the house of the tabernacle, by assignment. The gatekeepers were assigned to the four directions: the east, west, north, and south. And their brethren in their villages had to come with them from time to time for 7 days. For in this trusted office were 4 chief gatekeepers. They were Levites. And they had charge over the chambers and treasuries of the house of God. And they lodged all around the house of God because they had the responsibility. And they were in charge of opening it every morning. I guess I could call Sister Lynn a Levite. Now some of them were in charge of the serving vessels, for they brought them in and took them out by count. Some of them were appointed over the furnishings, and over all the implements of the sanctuary, and over the fine flour, and the wine, and the oil, and the incense, and the spices. And some of the sons of the priests made the ointment of the spices. Mattathiah of the Levites, the firstborn of Shalom, the Korahite, had the trusted office over the things that were baked in the pans. And some of their brethren of the sons of the Kohathites were in charge of preparing the showbread for every Sabbath. These are the singers, heads of the fathers' houses of the Levites, who lodged in the chambers and were free from other duties, for they were employed in that work day and night. These heads of the fathers' houses of the Levites were heads throughout their generations. They dwelt at Jerusalem. Jeiel, the father of Gibeon, whose wife's name was Micah, dwelt at Gibeon. His firstborn son was Abdon, then Zur, Kish, Baal, Ner, Nadab, Gedor, Ahio, Zechariah, and Mikloth. And Mikloth begot Shimeam. They also dwelt alongside their relatives in Jerusalem with their brethren. Ner begot Kish, Kish begot Saul, and Saul begot Jonathan, Malchishua, Abinadab, and Eshbaal. The son of Jonathan was Merib-Baal, and Merib-Baal begot Micah. The sons of Micah were Pathan, Melech, Tariah, and Ahaz. Ahaz begot Jarah. Jarah begot Alameth, Asmaveth, and Zimri begot Mosa. Mosa begot Biniah, Rephaiah his son, Elisah his son, and Azel his son. And Azel had 6 sons whose names were these: Azrikam, Bokiru, Ishmael, Shiriah, Obadiah, and Hanan. These were the sons of Azel. 1 Chronicles chapter 10. Now the Philistines fought against Israel, and the men of Israel fled from before the Philistines and fell slain on Mount Gilboa. Then the Philistines followed hard after Saul and his sons, and the Philistines killed Jonathan, Abinadab, and Malchishua, Saul's sons. The battle became fierce against Saul. The archers hit him, and he was wounded by the archers. Then Saul said to his armor-bearer, "Draw your sword and thrust me through with it, lest these uncircumcised men come and abuse me." But his armor-bearer would not, for he was greatly afraid. Therefore Saul took a sword and fell on it. And when his armor-bearer saw that Saul was dead, he also fell on his sword and died. So Saul and his 3 sons died, and all his house died together. And when all the men of Israel who were in the valley saw that they had fled, and that Saul and his sons were dead, they forsook their cities and fled. Then the Philistines came and dwelt in them. So it happened the next day, when the Philistines came to strip the slain, that they found Saul and his sons fallen on Mount Gilboa. And they stripped him and took his head and his armor, and sent word throughout the land of the Philistines to proclaim the news in the temple of their idols and among the people. Then they put his armor in the temple of their gods, and fastened his head in the temple of Dagon. And when all Jabesh Gilead heard all that the Philistines had done to Saul, all the valiant men arose and took the body of Saul and the bodies of his sons, and they brought them to Jabesh, and buried their bones under the tamarisk tree at Jabesh, and fasted 7 days. So Saul died for his unfaithfulness, which he had committed against the Lord, because he did not keep the word of the Lord, and also because he consulted a medium for guidance. But he did not inquire of the Lord. Therefore he killed him. I want you to notice that. The he is capitalized. Therefore he killed him and turned the kingdom over to David, the son of Jesse. 1 Chronicles chapter 11. Then all Israel came together to David at Hebron, saying, "Indeed, we are your bone and your flesh. Also in time past, even when Saul was king, you were the one who led Israel out and brought them in. And the Lord your God said to you, 'You shall shepherd my people Israel, and be ruler over my people Israel.' Therefore all the elders of Israel came to the king at Hebron, and David made a covenant with them at Hebron before the Lord. And they anointed David king over Israel, according to the word of the Lord by Samuel. And David and all Israel went to Jerusalem, which is Jebus, where the Jebusites were, the inhabitants of the land. But the inhabitants of Jebus said to David, "You shall not come in here." Nevertheless, David took the stronghold of Zion, that is the city of David. Now David said, "Whoever attacks the Jebusites first shall be chief and captain." And Joab, the son of Zeruiah, went up first and became chief. Then David dwelt in the stronghold, therefore they called it the city of David. And he built the city around it, from the Milo to the surrounding area. Joab repaired the rest of the city. So David went on and became great, and the Lord of hosts was with him. Now these were the heads of the mighty men whom David had, who strengthened themselves with him in his kingdom, with all Israel to make him king, according to the word of the Lord concerning Israel. And this is the number of the mighty men whom David had. Jashobeam, the son of Ahakamonite, chief of the captains. He had lifted up his spear against 300, killed by him at one time. After him was Eleazar, the son of Dodo, the Ahohite, who was one of the three mighty men. He was with David at Pasdammim. Now there the Philistines were gathered for battle, and there was a piece of ground full of barley. So the people fled from the Philistines, but they stationed themselves in the middle of that field, defended it, and killed the Philistines. So the Lord brought about a great victory. Now 3 of the 30 chief men went down to the rock to David into the cave of Adullam, and the army of the Philistines encamped in the valley of Rephaim. David was then in the stronghold, and the garrison of the Philistines was then in Bethlehem. And David said with longing, "Oh, that someone would give me a drink of water from the well of Bethlehem, which is by the gate." So the 3 broke through the camp of the Philistines, drew water from the well of Bethlehem that was by the gate, and took it and brought it to David. Nevertheless, David would not drink it, but poured it out to the Lord. And he said, "Far be it from me, O my God, that I should do this. Shall I drink the blood of these men who have put their lives in jeopardy? For at the risk of their lives they brought it." Therefore he would not drink it. These things were done by the 3 mighty men. Abishai, the brother of Joab, was chief of another 3. He had lifted up his spear against 300 men, killed them, and won a name among these 3. Of the 3, he was more honored than the other 2 men. Therefore he became their captain. However, he did not attain to the first 3. Benaiah was the son of Jehoiada, the son of a valiant man from Kabzeel, who had done many deeds. He had killed 2 lion-like heroes of Moab. He also had gone down and killed a lion in the midst of a pit on a snowy day. And he killed an Egyptian, a man of great height, 5 cubits tall. In the Egyptian's hand there was a spear, like a weaver's beam, and he went down to him with a staff, wrested the spear out of the Egyptian's hand, and killed him with his own spear. These things Benaiah, the son of Jehoiada, did, and won a name among 3 mighty men. Indeed, he was more honored than the 30, but he did not attain to the first 3. And David appointed him over his guard. Also the mighty warriors were Asahel, the brother of Joab, Elhanan, the son of Dodo of Bethlehem, Shemoth the Herite, Eliz the Pelonite, Ira the son of Ikish, the Tekoite, Abiezer the Anathothite, Sabekai the Hushathite, Eli the Ahohite, Maharai the Netephathite, Heled the son of Baana the Netephathite, Ithai the son of Ribai, of Gibeah of the sons of Benjamin, Benaniah the Pirathonite, Hurai of the brooks of Gaash, Abiel the Arbathite, Azamaveth the Bahuramite, Eliabah the Shealbanite, the sons of Hashem the Gizonite, Jonathan the son of Shagai the Herite, Ahiam the son of Sakar the Herite, Eliphal the son of Hefer the son or the Macherathite, Ahijah the Pelonite, Hezro the Carmelite, Nari the son of Ezbai, Joel the brother of Nathan, Mibhar the son of Hagri, Zelek the Ammonite, Naharai the Berathite, the armor-bearer of Joab the son of Zeruiah, Ira the Ithrite, Gareb the Ithrite, Uriah the Hittite, Zabad the son of Ali, Adina, the son of Shiza, the Reubenite, a chief of the Reubenites, and 30 with him, Hanan, the son of Micah, Josaphat, the son, or the Mithnite, Uzziah, the Ashtarothite, Shema and Jael, the sons of Hotham, the Ararite, Jediel, the son of Shimri, and Johi, his brother, the Tizite, Eliel, the Mahavite, Jerubai and Joshaviah, the sons of Elnaam, Ithma, the Moabite, Eliel, Obed, and Jaasiel, the Mesobaite. 1 Chronicles chapter 12. Now these were the men who came to David at Ziklag while he was still a fugitive from Saul the son of Kish. And they were among the mighty men, helpers in the war, armed with bows, using both the right hand and the left, and hurling stones, and shooting arrows with the bow. They were of Benjamin, Saul's brethren. The chief was Ahiezer, then Joash, the sons of Shema the Gibeathite, Jeziel and Pelet, the sons of Asmaveth, Berakah and Jehu the Anathothite, Ishmaiah the Gibeonite, a mighty man, among the 30 and over the 30, Jeremiah, Jahaziel, Johanan, and Jozabad, the Gederathite, Eluzai, Jeremoth, Beliah, Shemariah, and Shephatiah, the Herathite, and that would be Heraphite, Elkanah, Jeshia, Azarel, Joezer, and Jashobim, the Korahite, and Jola, and Zebediah, the sons of Jeroham of Gether. Some Gadites joined David at the stronghold in the wilderness, mighty men of valor, men trained for battle, who could handle shield and spear, whose faces were like the faces of lions, and were as swift as gazelles on the mountains. Ezer the first, Obadiah the second, Eliab the third, Mishmanah the fourth, Jeremiah the fifth, Attai the sixth, Eliel the seventh, Johanan the eighth, Elzabad the ninth, Jeremiah the 10th, and Machbanai the 11th. These were from the sons of Gad, captains of the army. The least was over 100, and the greatest was over 1,000. These are the ones who crossed the Jordan in the first month, when it had overflowed all its banks. And they put to flight all those in the valleys to the east and to the west. Then some of the sons of Benjamin and Judah came to David at the stronghold. And David went out to meet them and answered and said to them, "If you have come peaceably to me to help me, my heart will be united with you. But if to betray me to my enemies, since there is no wrong in my hands, may the God of our fathers look and bring judgment." Then the Spirit came up on Amasai, chief of the captains, and he said, "We are yours, O David. We are on your side, O son of Jesse. Peace, peace to you, and peace to your helpers, for your God helps you." So David received them and made them captains of the troop. And some from Manasseh defected to David when he was going with the Philistines to battle against Saul. But they did not help them, for the lords of the Philistines sent him away by agreement, saying, "He may defect to his master Saul and endanger our heads." When he went to Ziklag, those of Manasseh who defected to him were Abna, Jozabad, Jediel, Michael, Jozabad, Elihu, and Zilathai, captains of the thousands who were from Manasseh. And they helped David against the bands of raiders, for they were all mighty men of valor, and they were captains in the army. For at that time they came to David day by day to help him, until it was a great army, like the army of God. Now these were the numbers of the divisions that were equipped for war, and came to David at Hebron to turn over the kingdom of Saul to him, according to the word of the Lord. Of the sons of Judah bearing shield and spear, 6,800 armed for war. Of the sons of Simeon, mighty men of valor fit for war, 7,100. Of the sons of Levi, 4,600. Jehoiada, the leader of the Aaronites, and with him 3,700. Zadok, a young man, a valiant warrior, and from his father's house 22 captains. Of the sons of Benjamin, relatives of Saul, 3,000. Unto then the greatest part of them had remained loyal to the house of Saul. Of the sons of Ephraim, 20,800, mighty men of valor, famous men throughout their father's house. Of the half-tribe of Manasseh, 18,000 who were designated by name to come and make David king. Of the sons of Issachar, who had understanding of the times to know what Israel ought to do, their chiefs were 200, and all their brethren were at their command. Of Zebulun there were 50,000 who went out to battle, expert in war with all weapons of war, stout-hearted men who could keep ranks. Of Naphtali 1,000 captains, and with them 37,000 with shield and spear. Of the Danites who could keep battle formation, 28,600. Of Asher, those who could go out to war, able to keep battle formation, 40,000. Of the Reubenites and the Gadites and the half-tribe of Manasseh, from the other side of the Jordan, 120,000 armed for battle with every kind of weapon of war. All these men of war who could keep ranks came to Hebron with a loyal heart to make David king over all Israel. And all the rest of Israel were of one mind to make David king. And they were there with David 3 days, eating and drinking, for their brethren had prepared for them. Moreover, those who were near to them, from as far away as Issachar and Zebulun and Naphtali, were bringing food on donkeys and camels, on mules and oxen, provisions of flour and cakes of figs and cakes of raisins, wine and oil, and oxen and sheep abundantly, for there was joy in Israel. Our final reading for today is in 1 Chronicles chapter 13. Then David consulted with the captains of thousands and hundreds and with every leader. And David said to all the assembly of Israel, if it seems good to you, and if it is of the Lord our God, let us send out to our brethren everywhere who are left in all the land of Israel, and with them to the priests and Levites who are in their cities and their common lands, that they may gather together to us, and let us bring the ark of our God back to us. For we have not inquired at it since the days of Saul. Then all the assembly said they would do so, for the thing was right in the eyes of all the people. So David gathered all Israel together from Shihor in Egypt to as far as the entrance of Hamath, to bring the ark of God from Kirjath-jearim. And David and all Israel went up to Baalah, to Kirjath-jearim, which belonged to Judah, to bring up from there the ark of God the Lord, who dwells between the cherubim, where his name is proclaimed. So they carried the ark of God on a new cart from the house of Abinadab, and Uzzah and Ahio drove the cart. Then David and all Israel played music before God with all their might, with singing, on harps, on stringed instruments, on tambourines, on cymbals, and with trumpets. And when they came to Kidon's threshing floor, Uzzah put out his hand to hold the ark, for the oxen stumbled. Then the anger of the Lord was aroused against Uzzah, and he struck him because he put his hand to the ark, and he died there before God. And David became angry because of the Lord's outbreak against Uzzah. Therefore that place is called Perez Uzzah to this day. David was afraid of God that day, saying, how can I bring the ark of God to me? So David would not move the ark with him into the city of David, but took it outside into the house of Obed-Edom the Gittite. The ark of God remained with the family of Obed-Edom in his house 3 months. And the Lord blessed the house of Obed-Edom and all that he had. Now, if you would have been in that day and time, wouldn't you have loved to have been of the house of Obed-Edom? And yet, it was placed there because of the anger that was in David, that a man would touch the ark when it had been commanded to not do so. And it seems like an innocent thing, but the Lord stood by and did not change his word and what he had commanded. But I've thought about it. We are blessed because God can be in our house, in our car, in this church right now. God is everywhere that we are when we are filled with his Spirit. If you're listening today and you've not come home to the Lord, I've been very burdened this past weekend for several prodigals. And I have been burdened because I believe that Jesus is coming soon. But you can have him in your heart again. He waits with open arms. And so do we. So do we. Our arms are open to you, to give you a chance, to see you restored, to see you active in the work of God. If you play an instrument, look at that before the ark of the Lord. Oh my goodness, the tambourines. And I don't always like so many tambourines. I remember the days when we just didn't know any better. We just liked to have a tambourine. And we had so many tambourines at camp meeting and so on in the Mississippi district. I remember that. But you know what? The organ, the harps, which became our pianos, our keyboards, and the beautiful sounds of music. There should be love and joy and praise when we come together, when we're learning songs, whatever we're doing. Let the Spirit of God be upon you and let God's will be fulfilled in you. And come on home if you're a prodigal. And I say that there are other individuals that are listening that throughout that go on YouTube and watch this at a later time in the day, or and I just say to you, in your communities, if you're a pastor's wife, cry out to the Lord to bring those prodigals home. They are your ones that are going to be like a new convert all over again. And they're going to be ready just to get in there and work beside their pastor and pastor's wife and love the Lord, their God, with all of their heart. I pray you have a blessed day today, afternoon, evening, whenever you're tuning in. And I pray that you will be back with us tomorrow. God bless you.